point when Donald Trump was a youthful, reckless representative hoping to put his stamp on the New York horizon. The history and culture permeated in a bit of work of art didn't prevent him from rapidly constructing his eponymous tower. It was 1979 and the 33-year-old Trump, hungry to assemble what might come to be known as Trump Tower, had purchased the maturing Bonwit building and wanted to thump it down. Standing 9 stories over the road underneath, however, were 2 vast bas-relief Art Deco models. In a trial that even Trump conceded caused him issues, the land designer would tear the models down, shocking workmanship and culture specialists in New York and landing him on the front page of the New York Times. The story, which has been told by Trump and different biographers, a glaring difference to Trump's Twitter posts Thursday that discredited endeavors to expel Confederate landmarks, statues and figures, contending that expelling the bits of craftsmanship could tear away the nation's history and culture. Trump however does express some lament in his book for how the occurrence played out. Pitiful to see the history and culture of our extraordinary nation being to war separated with the evacuation of our lovely statues and landmarks, Trump composed more than 2 tweets. You can't change history, yet you can gain from it. He included, additionally, the excellence that is being removed from our urban areas, towns and parks will be significantly missed and never ready to be equivalently supplanted. Trump, brought up in Queens, had since quite a while ago longed for moving his family's external district land organization to Manhattan. Furthermore, nothing would flag his ascent to conspicuousness more than putting his name on a taking off expanding on Fifth Avenue. In specialty of the deal, the businessperson turned legislator's 1987 book, Trump composes that the Metropolitan Museum of Art inquired as to whether he would give the figures in 1979, in the blink of an eye before he was going to pulverize the Bonwit building. I said that if the friezes could be spared, I'd be glad to give them to the historical center, Trump composes. In any case, at that point cost and time acted as a burden. Trump reviews that his group came to him and revealed to him the boards were a great deal heavier than they thought. To spare them, Trump composes, would cost a huge number of dollars and would postpone the venture by half a month. I simply wasn't set up to lose countless dollars to spare a couple of Art Deco molds that I accepted were worth significantly less, and maybe not particularly by any means, he composes. So I requested my folks to tear them down. Related, craft of the deal professional writer predicts Trump will leave. It took simple hours for New York's craft world to respond with loathsomeness. Ashton Hawkins, the VP of the Load Up at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, revealed to the New York Times at the time that Trump's choice was remarkable. We are positively extremely frustrated and very shocked, Hawkins said in a front-page Times piece titled Designer Scraps Bonwit Sculptures. A later New York Times publication would savage Trump, clearly huge structures don't make enormous people, nor do huge arrangements make craftsmanship specialists. Indeed, even the youthful Trump was amazed by the response. What I didn't depend on was the shock this would make, he composed. It was not the kind of exposure you get a kick out of the chance to get. Thinking back, I'll admit that I had the models decimated. He included, I'm not persuaded they were really profitable, yet, I see now that specific occasions can go up against an emblematic significance. To be perfectly honest, I was excessively youthful, and maybe in a lot of a rush, to consider. Trump has offered changing feelings on the sources of brutal challenges in Charlottesville, Virginia left 1 counter-nonconformist and 2 cops dead. The contention between racial oppressors and counter-nonconformists focused on the city's endeavors to expel a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Trump safeguards Confederate statues. Here are 1,500 images of the Confederacy in the U.S. Trump, amid an angry news gathering on Tuesday, proposed that if statues to Lee were to descend, previous presidents George Washington and Thomas Jefferson would be next. You truly do need to ask yourself, where does it stop? He said. Trump later said that bringing down statues like that would on a very basic level modify history. You're evolving history, he said. You're evolving society. Trump is not shying far from a civil argument over Confederate landmarks, and his best White House assistants are pushing the verbal confrontation on Twitter and in interviews. The Democrats, the more they discuss character governmental issues, I got them. I need them to discuss prejudice each day, Steve Bannon, the White House's best strategist, said in a meeting with the dynamic magazine The American Prospect. In the event that the left is centered around race and personality, and we run with monetary patriotism, we can pulverize the Democrats. That Bannon's hypothesis that any discourse of Confederate landmarks is politically gainful for Trump has striking similitudes to the lesson Trump gained from the Bonwit building contention. Amusingly, the entire contention may have wound up being an or more for me regarding offering Trump Tower, Trump composed, taking note of that future stories would not draw a colossal measure of thoughtfulness regarding Trump Tower and help offer condos. I took a lesson from that experience. Great reputation is desirable over awful, however from a primary concern viewpoint, awful attention is now and then superior to anything no exposure by any means, Trump composed. Discussion. So, offers.